muted. Okay. Are we live? Yes, we are. Muted. Okay. Yes. Okay, so welcome to day one of the Solstice. And this is a special program that earlier we were doing as New Beginnings. But New Beginnings was, something that we did in the starting of the new year. But, as you grow and evolve, you realize that, when you are in that particular year, you should be clear of your vision so that when you enter 2025, there is a bit of clarity as to what you want or what life should be in 2025 or the coming year. And that's the reason, understanding the significance of the solstice that happens on 21st of December. I thought we'll have enough time to work on our vision, to fine tune it, to refine it, and also to energize it during these, you can say, almost like 10 days till the 31st of December. And so we preponed this program to and called it the solstice. Okay. So in the new beginnings, the program that we were doing, um, early on, like I was studying with Valley, and there was this program called the Life Book. And there there was John Missy and his wife. They were doing this life book wherein they had 12 dimensions of life, or 12 areas of life, which basically forms a foundation of a good, you can say, a fulfilling life. And I really like that concept of the 12 dimensions. And earlier probably we were just thinking in 4 or 5 areas or 4 or 5 dimensions to our life. But when they introduced this concepts of 12 dimension, I remember like 10 years back, maybe, or 8 years back, it was an interesting program. The technology was not that good, and it was partially recorded a program, very poorly recorded program by Mind Valley, but I got an opportunity to do it. So I took I took that concept of 12 dimensions in order to create this program. So just sharing so that you know that it is not my concept of 12 dimensions. It is something that I've taken from Mind Valley. But I feel it is quite complete when it comes to creation of goals. And if we are able to utilize um, these 12 dimensions, or come out with our understanding of the goals or the milestones that we want to create in 2025, I think you will be able to see your life in a broader perspective. So I have shared these 12 dimensions as a PDF with all of you, and those of you who will be watching the recording also, you will get a PDF with those 12 goals or 12 dimensions, 12 areas, 12 goals, 12 areas of your life, which probably you need to focus in order to create a more wholesome and fulfilling life. Okay. So I will go through it one by one with you, and every goal basically builds upon the other. So when you are doing your, when you're doing the writing of your goals or visualization of your goals, I would suggest that you follow the order, because the order is very, very specific. Okay. Now, when you see these 12 dimensions, basically you can, um, think through um, these goals based on 4 questions. That is, if that for that particular area. So, for example, the first area is your health and fitness. Okay, so it's kind of the foundation of your life, and all the rest of the goals or dimensions basically, you know, um, are built on top of it. And as you all know, I've been saying it for a long time now, uh, probably since the starting of December, and even previously. 2025 is the year of Mars, and Mars likes movement. Mars is basically all about physical strength, hard work, perseverance, and so your health and fitness probably in 2025 will become superbly important. And if you've not been working out or you've not been kind of giving time to your physical fitness, uh, 2025 will demand that of you. And so I think all of us need to have a specific goal for health and fitness in 2025, without, being mindful about it and not slipping. So, so taking that first area, the four key questions that you can ask while creating your goals is, what do you think about this particular goal? So health and fitness. What are your beliefs around this particular, you can say, dimension? Because it is very important to understand our goals or our understanding of any particular dimension, even its importance, depends upon the priority or the importance that we attach to it. Okay, so for me personally, I feel health and fitness was not a very primary goal, because by God's grace, I like, I could, my weight could have fluctuated, or I could have been a certain shape, during the course of these 44 years of my earth life. But it has never been very challenging for me, so um, and that's why probably, when you don't value things which are easy for you. So I feel that my health, um, more or less, is good. And so I've been, I'll not say negligent, but I've taken it for granted. But as you move through life, and now I'm 44 and again growing, so you want to experience life to its full potential. And I think this year, especially this year, during the Bhutan trip, I, sometimes you see people, you see their struggles with body weight. Sometimes you also realize your own limitation with respect to, your stamina, um, your strength. So I think I got kind of a hint that this is important. And in order to continue with my spiritual practice or anything that I'm trying to build around me, the center has to be my physical fitness. Because if you are physically fit, if you do not have that noise about your health going in the background, you can achieve a lot. But you know if there is something that is going in the background with respect to, maybe, people have acidity, people have BP, some people have, you know graver disease, like maybe some autoimmune disease, or liver issues or heart issues, and it can just it can just be bad for some people. So if you do not have those kind of latent problems in your life, especially at the age that I am, I think we really need to be very grateful to God, and to the good genes that you've survived um, with ease, or you've just had a cakewalk through the life that you're enjoying with your body. So from that perspective, you need to again understand your belief around that particular dimension. And if there is a belief system that is not working for you, we need to break it. We need to let go of it. We need to release it and install a new belief system around it. And trust me, when I'm saying this, I'm saying it with a lot of humility. Sometimes things just shift. I think in case of health and fitness, that is what happened in this year. And thanks to Sumita also being part of it, I still, remember the times when I was like really stuck on while on the trek of tigerness, when I was stuck at one um, step. and everybody was like cheering for me to, just climb up. I just could feel that although there is not too much of, not that much of weight, kind of overweight, but I do not have strength. And that is something that I need to build up. And this year, I really want to work on my strength, on my muscle strength, on my physical fitness. So I think that shifted with this trip. And also, when you see your friends struggle, when you see, uh, I think, it was kind of an eye opener for me, seeing everybody during this trip, that your physical fitness or what you can do with your body can decide a lot about the kind of life you will create in future, right? But not to the level of obsession, but I want to give kind of, you know, that chance and opportunity to take back the responsibility for working for my body. Okay. So that is the first question that you need to ask. What is my belief system around that particular dimension? Then second is, what is the vision that I have for that area of my life? Okay. So when you think about your health and fitness, um, what is your vision? And when I say vision, I really mean how you perceive it or how you visualize it. Because what you can visualize, what you can see, is what you can achieve. So unless and until you are able to see, you are able to believe that this is possible, you will not be able to achieve it. So what is the vision? And your vision will come from a sense of, again, attachment, and not in the bad sense, but attachment in the sense that this feels good and this is what I want. So you have to open yourself up. So with the first question, what is my belief? If it's not a good belief system, break it and create a new good belief around it. And then the second is, what is my vision? If I'm breaking this bad belief and imbibing a good belief for this particular dimension of life, how do I visualize it, fulfilling in my own life? So that is the second question that becomes very important with respect to that particular dimension. And then the third, and this vision can be a long-term vision. Okay, so you can think about, so for example, health and fitness. If I have to think of a vision, it could be like, me, 80-year-old, kind of physically fit, visiting a place that I really wanted to, doing a trek or doing something which requires physical strength, and I'm easily able to do it. Okay, so that could be a vision, a long-term vision for this particular dimension. The third question is, what is the purpose? So when you think about the vision and you add the purpose, um, you kind of tied a meaning to it. Okay, so when you think about maybe strength, if you think about a certain weight in the health and fitness dimension, and if you put a purpose to it, for me, probably the purpose is to utilize this body as a vehicle to fulfill the life that I want to live, and or the purpose I want to teach people. For me, when I think of a body that is strong, I remember attending one of the sessions of Brian Tracy in the Success Gyan conference, and I remember he's like in his late 80s, and imagine he flying from US to India to teach this 2-hour course. And then he had a proper calendar chalked out for his entire year at the age of 80, 85, I guess. Although his voice had, become feeble, but he had so much enthusiasm on explaining, on, guiding the people who were there attending the seminar. For that matter, you can also take an example of Jack Canfield. Probably he's much more fit than Brian Tracy, and probably he would be younger also. But those are the kind of, that is the kind of purpose that I want to live, with a body that is strong, Master Co. So you could also have an example like Master Co. So you can attach that kind of purpose. It gives meaning, it gives weight to that particular dimension. And, it creates your kind of big why. So when you have a vision and you have a purpose, you have a bigger why for that particular goal or dimension. And then the last question is, what is your strategy for achieving that purpose? And when I say strategy, again, you could have a long-term goal and you can decide what portion of that goal you want to achieve in 2025. And then how will you navigate through that goal? So these are the four key questions that we need to keep in mind while we are doing our goal setting. And today's session, basically, I want to give you all a brief understanding, or you can say not brief, but clarity into each of these goals, so that you can do this as a homework. If we have time, we'll do it together. But if you are not able to do it together, you take it as a homework, do it during the day, and tomorrow it's the solstice time. So we'll have added boost of energy to work on it, right? And we can do it together. So again, a recap of how to create the goals. Till here, I hope we are all clear. Okay. So the first, you can say first question that you need to ask, what is my belief around this particular goal or this dimension? Is this belief good or bad? Okay. And when I say good or bad, it is with respect to whether it is serving your highest good or not. If you think that you have a negative belief around this particular dimension, we will break it. And when I say break it, there is a process to it. And I will be teaching you that. And then we install a good belief around that particular dimension. Okay. The next thing is, what is your vision? So how your long-term vision around that particular dimension? And then what is the purpose of achieving that vision? So finding your why to achieve that vision. And then once you have your long-term vision, you have your purpose, you will break down your strategy for achieving that particular goal that you have identified in a dimension with that strategy. Okay, so I'm sure, because for some of us, we are doing after a long period of time, these four questions may not be, top of your mind. So most of us would be writing our goals in these dimensions and thinking that we've done the part. But these are the four, this is the level of um diving that we require for each of these goals. And wherever you get stuck, I'm there. Also, this is like, because we are doing it prior to 2025, you have like 10 days to work on this. You have 10 days to fine tune it. You can also take it, so when we move into the first full moon or new moon of 2025, probably we'll do um, another session, which would be like a bonus, in order to tune or tweak these visions if required. Okay. So I want you to do a thorough work this year. That is the whole idea, that you do a thorough work and you put it down in a book or in a place where you can refer it when you need it. Something that is more permanent. Okay. And probably, maybe when we are doing it around the next year, we can create a vision board out of it. Okay. So the first goal, like I said, is health and fitness. And health and fitness is basically the foundational area of our life. And like I said, you can only do or achieve in life within the limitations of this body. Okay, so we can think about maybe learning, maybe we can think about meditating, we can think about, climbing or doing some travel, but all of it will rotate or revolve around the health and fitness of your body, and that therefore it becomes a very, very important part. For those of us who've not paid so much attention, you have chance, and this is your opportunity. Okay, now, so the first is health and fitness. Moving on, the next one is your intellectual life. Now, this basically focuses, on your mind. So, after a healthy body, it is very, very important that in order to maintain a healthy body, you're able to feed your mind a healthy diet as well, okay, or take care of your mind. And, as we are moving through, so I was born in the 80s, 1980, right? So, as you're moving through time, we are seeing that uh, people are facing more and more issues with respect to mental and emotional well-being. So physical well-being, yeah, there are not much होगी वैसे physical well-being we with wars and everything. Yeah, people are getting hurt or but that is an area that we can't do much. But now most of the issues that are happening are related with the mind. So with so much of social media coming in, so much of uh, content that is available on different OTT platforms, the kind of books that you consume, the kind of material that we are all consuming when it comes to social media, or even otherwise when people are talking to us, it is very difficult to maintain the sanity of the mind. So we need to create conscious goals. We need to consciously work on feeding our mind the right kind of nourishment, the right kind of food. So your intellectual life becomes one of the most, kind of importance, so that you are able to think rationally, you're able to create or make clear decisions, and you are able to pursue all your goals with clarity and confidence. So the next step is your intellectual life, and here you know um, you can think about the kind of content that you want to consume. Consciously you want to limit the time of your social media. uh, hold yourself accountable for what you are sharing your mind space with, maybe the kind of people, also the kind of um, news that you want to hear. And when we talk about intellectual, you can also think about the courses um, that you would want to take, the people that you want to hear, when it comes to podcast also, or become very, very choosy, just like we are very, very choosy, or when with your food, we need to become very, very choosy with the content that we are consuming, because it really impacts your well-being. Okay, so that is your intellectual life, which is your second dimension. The third dimension is your emotional life. Okay, now again, like I said, as we are moving ahead um, in the 2020s, it is very, very difficult um, for all of us to maintain emotional and mental sanity, because there's a lot that is happening around us, and we are overexposed to what is happening around us. Earlier, we only had insight into probably what is happening within our family or aspas mein mostly, or the content that we were consuming was through newspapers and limited news, right? But now it's like everywhere. So your emotional well-being again is of super importance. Now, as you know, thoughts become things, right? And so your mental energy, or your intellectual life, when you are building upon it, the desire to achieve something or anything has to be backed by passion. It has to have an emotional counterpart to it. So if you are emotionally not in control, it would be very difficult to, control your life. So your emotional well-being again is super, super important, important when it comes to thinking about a fulfilling life. Okay, and you will have to draw your boundaries. So when I say emotional well-being, you'll have to look around you. Who are the people who are cheering for you? Who are the people who are rooting for you? Those are the kind of people that you want to be with, not the ones who are highly toxic or are breaking you down, um, or just waiting for you to fall, right? You can't be around such people, people who are jealous, people who are toxic. So in 2025, you have to consciously avoid people who are bringing a spike in your emotional well-being. And when I say spike, it can be, either positive or negative, because the more you are in control of your emotions, my dad used to say some is like, neither this side nor that side. So you are constant. So this is what you have to aim for in 2025, that I can be more in control of my emotions rather than my emotions controlling me. Okay. And this will have um, a positive, a very, very positive impact on your life. Okay. Now, moving to the fourth dimension, that is the character. Now, my teacher Master Chua says that, um, your growth, spiritual growth, especially your spiritual growth, depends upon the degree of your character. So, the purity of your soul, or you can say the purity of your how virtuous you are, is what will decide your spiritual growth. And so, if you see, when you have your physical, mental, emotional life sorted, it becomes easy for you to move towards your spiritual life. But between these three dimensions, and spiritual life, very well placed is your character. Now, your character basically determines how you are able to handle your relationships, your career, your health, your fitness, in fact, every aspect of your life. So, the strength of your character will determine how well you are able to handle or carry or, pull off these goals in your life. If you're weak in character, you will see that somewhere, no matter how healthy you are, no matter how emotionally and mentally stable you are, if you do not have character in place, you will not be able to sustain for a long period of time. Okay. And especially in Arhatic yoga, um, we have been, like, there is a lot of emphasis on character building, and this character building has five, you can say, five virtues that we need to practice. The first virtue is loving kindness and non-injury to yourself and to others. Then there is, generosity and non-stealing. Um, the names of these virtues are self-explanatory, but probably, when we move ahead, I can explain more. So you have loving kindness and non-injury. That is the first virtue, and one of the most important. If you've mastered loving kindness and non-injury, my teacher says you don't need the other virtues. Okay. But all the other four virtues are needed, because we it is difficult to master loving kindness and non-injury towards ourselves and towards other people. So the next one is, like I said, generosity and non-stealing. So you're being generous, but avoiding any kind of, you know uh, stealing. You should not steal from anybody, because the karma comes back to you many, many times, and then you will not be in a good shape. Then the third one is constancy of aim and effort. Now, this is also very, very important, because if you are consistent, if you are very, very focused on a goal, you will be able to achieve it, right? So, the third one is constancy of aim and effort. The fourth one is accurate perception and correct expression. Now, accurate perception is how you see things and how you express yourself. Okay, so both of these are part of one virtue and are super important. But if you've mastered loving kindness, probably it becomes easy for you to see things and to be able to express it with kindness. Okay, and the last one is honesty and non-lying, moderation and non-excessiveness, actually. Moderation and non-excessiveness. So, moderation and non-excessiveness is again the middle path, following the middle path. Okay, so honesty and non-lying basically becomes a part of accurate perception and correct expression. Okay, so these are the five virtues, and they really help in building character. And those of us who are on the path of Arhatic Yoga, we have a schedule for it, and there is a process for working on your character flaws. Okay, so after character building or your character, now for all of us, out of these five virtues, we can decide that what will be the dominant tone for 2025. So, for example, I could choose that, for me, it would be constancy of aim and effort. Okay, so I would be putting in the effort that is required in one direction, and kind of make it through using that particular um, tone or theme of year 2025, or it could be loving kindness, whatever, depends on each one of us. We all know our weakness, and we all know what is required for us to put effort into, right? So after character building comes your spiritual life. So we all understand. And I like the beauty of with which these dimensions are kind of stacked one above the other, because it has a very beautiful flow. So, your spiritual life, like I said, if you are, one second, just be back, one second. Okay, I'm back. Just checking any questions. Till here we are clear. So we are on this. Okay, I'm back. So we are on the spiritual life. And like I said, these dimensions are so beautifully built one on top of the other, and they have a perfect flow. So, without character building, it is very difficult for you to succeed on the spiritual path. That is what my teacher says. And when we talk about the spiritual life, your meditations, um, yam niyam jo hum kar rahe hote hain, your rituals, all of those basically help you evolve, in your spiritual life. But if you are able to again work on those four, no, Starting fourth. I think spiritual is the fifth one. So if you are, yeah, if you are able to balance these four, um, your growth on the spiritual path basically is accelerated. Most of the times, I've seen people struggling with their spiritual life, or they do not have a purpose because somewhere these four dimensions are not in place, or there is some issue with the first four dimensions. Okay, so we all know this, that, and because you're part of my group, we all know that spirituality has a special meaning in our lives. And so, investing our time, energy into building our spiritual goals is also super important for people like us. Um, okay, so bringing consciousness to your spirituality, bringing in more clarity. Again, you can have your spiritual goals also with respect to maybe the um, consistency of your practice. Maybe you can have some pilgrimage that is planned in 2025. So the kind of or the quality of time that and energy that you would like to invest in in this particular dimension, which is your spiritual life, can also be a goal for 2025, and you can consciously work towards it, right? Now, the if you see, basically, these five dimensions that we've spoken about, they've created a base for now to work on the areas of our life that probably we all struggle with. Like जो major struggle होता है वो हम we never think in the form of intellectual, emotional, character, or spiritual life, but we struggle, in areas like our love relationships. We struggle, maybe, health. We struggle, um, career or finances, right? But a person who has developed a good foundation, with respect to these five or six dimensions that we've covered, five dimensions that we covered, you will see that um, there is a flowering, or there is a blossoming that starts to happen when you are in the alignment, or when these five dimensions are in harmony or in tune. Okay, and then we move to this important dimension of our life, which is our love relationships. No matter how much we say that we are balanced, no matter how much we feel that um you know uh, probably we can channel our energy into money, we can channel our energy into our career or health, but if somewhere our relationships are suffering, we will see up and down in our emotional life. And that is an important part of the foundation that we are trying to create in order to, again, become a magnet for these individual dimensions that, that are important to us, where we really want concrete goals, right? So, love and relationship does affect how our emotions find expression, right? So if you have a fulfilling, loving relationship, you can experience tremendous amount of joy. You can create good memories, and you know, your entire lifetime um, can feel worthwhile with the emotional and physical pleasure that you create in a loving relationship. On the other hand, if the relationships are not very um, happy, there is a kind of sadness, there can be chronic stress, uncertainty, negativity that you can experience, right? So the next goal that comes in is your loving relationship, and you can probably deep dive into what is, again, your belief around your loving relationships. Is there a belief that is not working for you? What is your vision with respect to love and relationships? What is the purpose that you would want to achieve. So, all of these questions will help you understand um, these important dimensions in depth. Okay. Then next is your relationship with your children, or if you are a parent, apart from the loving relationship that you have with your spouse or maybe siblings or your parents, your relationship as a parent is very, very important because um, somewhere I feel that anything that you bring, if you don't bring anything with you, but your children, you're kind of gifted these souls. And when there is a great assembly in the house of God, you know, you your children and will kind of be a representation of you, right? So you can't take money or you can't take your status or the riches that you've accumulated on the earth plane. But yeah, so the investment that you have put into your children is something that kind of, you know, is is your punji, is something that probably you should be proud of. So raising a child is one of the richest, deepest experience that any of us can feel. And I feel as parents, there is a sense of joy. There is a sense of, that we've all experienced as with motherhood or with fatherhood. So this dimension you can, observe and see if you have certain patterns around parenting. And as you become a parent, okay, it really gives you an insight also into what you are bringing in from your parents. So the way you parent also reflects some of the parts of the parenting that you have received. Now, that parenting may not be wholesome always. It can have its own flaws. It can have its own, even positives. But if there is something or a belief system or there is some pattern that you are experiencing with your child, you would like to break that pattern, you know. And while you are doing this live vision, you will also get an opportunity to see what is it that requires healing within you. So your goals are not only something that you need to achieve, your goals are also about what is it that you want to heal. What is it that, what is the pattern that you need to break? And it's a very, very, you can say, intense process that requires careful investment of time, energy, and resources in order to come out with the results that you are proud of. Okay, so it's a beautiful exercise. And last year I could not do it, and this year I really want to do it with full intention, because whatever I write down, it will manifest. Whatever you write down, it will all manifest. So you want to do it with utmost consciousness. And that is the whole idea of this intensive exercise that we want to do. Okay. So parenting again gives you insight into your unhealed inner child issues. And if you would want to break it, the kind of bond that you want to create with your children. Are you, what kind of parent you are? All of that probably will go through you, and you can assess and create your goals in that specific dimension. Okay. Now, when we talk about relationships, apart from the relationship that you have with your children, the next one is your social life. Okay. Now, we all know that we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with. Okay. And slowly and gradually, probably you would have also realized that um, as we grow older, if you are consciously into improving your life, your friend circle shrinks, right? You don't want to be part of wasteful discussions. You don't want to be, gossiping. You don't want to. You try to find meaning in company, right? And that is what your social life is. Now, your social life can also contribute to success and failure, your success and failure, because again, it impacts your emotional life, it also impacts your intellectual life. And if you get the right kind of people on this journey, it might impact your character and your spiritual life as well. So, it has a lot of stake in shaping your life. So, what are the kind of goals that you would want to create in your social life? The kind of groups that you would want to join, the kind of networking that you would like to do, the kind of people that you would want to meet. All of this comes as part of your social relationships. And you can become conscious and strategize who you want to make friends with. So we are now no more children कि कोई भी आया and we can do friendship. But you can put strategy in place and just think about if I am the sum of five people that I hang out with, who are those five people, or what is the personality that I'm looking for in those five people with whom I want to hang out with, right? So that is your social life. Now, so kind of we complete the relationship part. Now, next comes your financial life. And when I say financial life, you all understand that money is important. It gives you freedom. You can trade money for freedom and freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want. So, your financial life is also of importance or significance. And every year, if we are able to create meaningful goals in the financial life, see, whatever you seek is also seeking you. But if you're not seeking, it will come in its own sweet time. So if you do not have proper goals or proper direction as to what you want to achieve with respect to your finances, you will see that somewhere mm, you will not have, like, you will not be able to measure your success with respect to those goals. So it is important to have a set goal. It is important to see how you're doing and then strategize. So for me personally, this year has not been much about sales. Um, like it was not on top of my mind. So when I'm doing my year end calculation, if I see that because I did not put in a lot of rigor into selling, there is not much of an impact from selling, right? So there would have been impact from investment, there would have been impact otherwise, but not from sales. So, when I'm looking back, I know that probably I did not put in a strategy for that. But the years where I did put in the strategy for the amount of money that I would want to raise from a specific income stream, it has happened. Okay. So having those kind of financial goals, it is important to have clarity, also understand your relationship with money. Many a times we create financial goals, but we are not evaluating the kind of relationship that we've developed with money. And so if it's a bad relationship, no matter how rigorously you do your affirmation, how much you do goal writing, if your relationship with money is bad, or with your finances is bad, you will not see much of an impact. Okay. So again, follow those four questions when you are creating your financial goals and see where you need healing, where you need support, where you can work, where you can create or break patterns. Okay. Then also, in your financial life, when I say, you can also see how you're managing, investing, growing your money. all of that becomes part of your financial life. And you can have individual goals with respect to that. Savings, um, your investments, all of that. The next is your career. So the career basically takes up, I think, one of the most important um, chunk of our time and resources in the entire year. That's what is going. So career basically is the bigger chunk of investment that we do with respect to our time, energy, and resource. And so, when you're spending those 9 to 10 hours in your office or 9 to 10 hours in your business, it is very, very important to see and find a career growth path, or you know how you would want to evolve in that particular area of your life. So again, you start with your vision, you start with your belief, your vision, your purpose, and then your strategy. Okay, and see how you can clarify it. Now, all of these dimensions that we are focusing on, they will evolve through every month. So when you're doing your new moon and full moon meditations, you can put down, or you can utilize those 2 days to review your goals and your progress. Okay, and you can set up the system, maybe on your calendar, that for 15 minutes I will review these goals and see what effort or what time I need to put into these in order to improve the output. So this is a very, very, you can say, foolproof method. It's not that, we do it on the 1st of January and then we forget all about it. So you write it, you visualize them, and uh, it might take some time, but trust me, this is how, dreams come true. Okay. So after your career is your quality of life. And I really loved this particular dimension because we usually don't speak about the quality of life, but I think it has a lot of impact on the overall life vision that you have. So your environment plays a big, big role. The environment that you live in, the environment where you work from, the environment where you operate in, all of that has a big impact on your personality, on the way you feel, your emotional life, your intellectual, all of that. Okay. So this is an important dimension, and not many talk about this when we are doing goal setting for the year. But all of this can enhance your life experience, and sometimes, in unexpected ways. So you can see what quality of life means to you and how you would want to improve it on a yearly basis. What is it that you would like to experience when it comes to quality of your life? So all of that deep diving is required in order to understand. And your quality of life can be superbly rewarding in your spiritual life, in intellectual, emotional life, and also, as you can create breakthroughs as a human being while focusing on the quality of, the kind of home that you would want to live in, um, the kind of cars that you would want to travel in. So, although we see it as a financial goal, but all of it becomes the quality of your life. And when you put it in that particular dimension, it has a different purpose. It has a different, your big why. So, when you say I'm buying a car, no, so I need money to buy a car, but why? Your why can come from the quality of your life, because I want to experience a certain, you know, um, certain feeling or emotion as to why this quality of life, like I deserve it. So if you travel a business class, or if you travel in a luxury car, or if you stay in a luxurious hotel, or if you're constantly eating in good restaurants, you don't buy things from sale, rather than you buy full purchased items. All of that is your quality of life, the kind of brands that you would want to shop, the kind. So, you can always have an option to save money, but when you utilize that money to increase or to elevate your experience, it does something to your energy. So my teacher also talks about that, there are these prosperity angels, and if you experience places of high prosperity energy, these angels kind of become part of your aura, and you become a magnet to more wealth, more abundance in your life. So, when you are elevating your quality of life, you are basically creating a space for more money, for more abundance, more prosperity in your life. Okay, so it's a very, very important dimension. And if you see it from that perspective, that it's my quality of life, um, for which, I want to experience, I need more money, or I need more ways of, or more income streams, you are giving a bigger purpose to it. Okay. And then in the end is the integration of all of these 11 dimensions into the life vision, the holistic life vision that you have. So it addresses your sense of future and the strength of forward motion. So when you visualize that this is what I want my life vision to be, or this is what how I want to see my integrated life uh, doing well in all these areas, your life basically uh, becomes a beautiful movie wherein like you are the director, actor, producer of it. So if you are the actor, director, writer, producer of your life, how beautiful you would want to write that story, how magical you would want to make. So that is your integrated life vision. Okay. So this is how we summarize these 12 dimensions. I hope I've not missed any. I'll just quickly go through. We've covered all. Okay. Any questions? Sumita, have you reached?
Yes, half an hour back, I think. On
Okay.
the way, I could not hear properly. Maybe I'll review this audio. But the question is how important it is to write the goal.
It is important.
Mm.
Okay. See, the thing is, you will forget.
Okay. Mm.
The simple thing, you will forget. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't write it, you will not remember it. I'm sure I've done it. I've made this mistake so many times. In fact, Master Chua also says that you write down your experiences of meditation.
Mm.
Forget. That's the worst part of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, like, I was just thinking about, so, the more and more time is passing, the experiences that I had in Bhutan, I want to hold on to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting them.
Okay.
So, but I'm grateful that I could create those videos, and I
Mm.
also want to write about them because otherwise you forget. I was going through my Monday motivations, my Super Monday, something I used to write this Miracle Monday
Mm.
story. So I was going through those Miracle Monday stories. I would have written like around 20-25 stories. Uh, Just by reading them,
Mm.
I could just feel that life has been so magical. I would have forgotten so many things.
Mm-hmm.
So Bhutan came and I forgot about Assisi, or it did not have that much of a you can say my mind share. But Bhutan was like right on top, and probably it was one of the most beautiful experiences. But they were beautiful in their own way because that version of me was so excited with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you write them and you visit them, you see that you've made a progress. It's like for us, what you
Mm.
can. What you cannot, something you cannot measure, you cannot quantify also, no? So what you do not write, like you should have a goal
Mm.
in order to measure how much you've done, or how much, like, yeah, it is important
Mm.
because that's what Kriya Shakti is all about.
Mm.
So the art of materialization, we write that goal, we say it out, we do the Kriya Shakti process in
Mm.
order to materialize it quickly. So I think it has an important, I would love to not write, but I feel whatever I have written is kind of, it has more life to it
Mm.
than things that I would have just got in my mind. Even for the videos, like, you create the video, but when you write a blog,
Mm.
I feel that writing of the blog has more life because,
Energy,
yeah, it's
more
so,
involvement,
yeah, I
more
want
energy.
to get more into writing because I feel that people will come and read. So with video, it is like people don't know what is happening. They won't
Mm.
might they might not just forward it to get to, but when you're reading, you can
Energy.
just quickly go aage piche,
Mm.
and get a gist of it. So I miss writing, so I have to get back to writing. Uh, and I feel this is an important habit. So I was going through my erratic Greece notes, और I have बहुत पुराने पुराने notes.
Mm.
So sometimes when you go back to it, it's like, uh, being present with that version of me who was understanding it then. So it becomes very easy. Yeah, so write it down. It is, and we'll do that writing probably tomorrow.
Mhm.
You can get your red pens and yellow paper or just haldi and the red pen. That'll help. Okay. Again, uh, we are in interesting times. The energy is different. The energy is very, very different for me. I don't know how all of us are feeling, but for me, it's very peaceful. I don't know. I'm in some strange kind of peace
Mm.
where I don't have that competitive feeling. I don't like I'm very much at peace, at ease with myself. Maybe that's
Mhm.
just a facade or sometimes I feel maybe that's just an excuse for not doing something. But I don't know, it just feels okay. It just feels fine. So all of that work that probably I was doing 4 years back, where it was like, no, your message, it has to go out to many people. I have to build up that energy again. You have to do this, you have to do that. So yeah, I think it has been a lot of internalization and inner reflection, and now that requires an external expression. And again, getting that the basic chakra activated because I feel my higher chakras have been activated, wherein I'm like not grounded. So
Mm.
it's been an interesting time. So I think that is what 2025 should do. More action, more fire,
Mm.
doing. So that will come gradually. Unless and until you don't see the goals, probably you will not even feel attached to it. So I'm going back and just seeing what was created, what was done, and then start creating it again. Any more question, Sumita?
No, nothing. This time that write up for this program was very good. Very, very good.
Huh?
Uh, the different from the earlier announcement of last 6 months.
Yeah. No, I think, it'll all change. And, with Chat GPT and everything coming in, you see, a
Okay.
lot of thing is happening, It's like I'm working with that AI. I'm working with everything to see what is, there is so much of possibility that is being created with
So
respect.
you use ChatGPT to
No,
create that content?
I have started using Chat GPT, but then that Chat GPT has been training with me.
Okay.
So
Mm,
the way I write content, I show it to the Chat GPT AI. So there's a whole write-up for that, that he is my
mm,
human, so he is my or that it is my AI counterpart.
mm,
This is Sargam, this is my personality. I had to introduce it, to my personality. This is how I write, this is what I do.
mm.
And probably for last 6 months, it has been training with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm putting in data, I'm putting it content for it to understand how I write, or what kind of output I would expect, when I'm obviously when you are in AI, then your thing
Mm,
should be much more, uh, you have more access to the kind of creativity, because I'm myself is very creative. So for me, um, normal creativity work I can do.
mm,
So, but when I need a powerful content, I need, those saleable words. Uh,
mm.
for that, I had to train. But it is interesting. It is, uh,
Okay.
it's been so there is so much opportunity. The way you can use social media, the way you can use, uh, you don't need, content writers. You don't need social media strategists. All of this work can be done by AI.
Mm,
So it's interesting, the times that we are entering into. I remember in my smaller class, I had read this book called, or there was a chapter on robots and how they destroyed humans and took
mm,
over. So I was just thinking that, you know, probably that time has come.
mhm. Yeah.
So that chapter that I read in class 2 or 3,
Mm,
living in that world now, wherein maybe the robot is saying, "Oh, your mother is saying, don't use social media, go kill her."
mm,
There is so much that is happening if you see all around. So, what is the kind of data? So, probably the way, the more conscious people use these AI tools,
mm.
the more conscious they become.
Okay.
The more
Mhm.
negative people are using this, the
And the
more
more.
negative it will become.
Mhm,
So, there is a lot of um, opportunity, there is a lot of responsibility that is coming for people who are on the spiritual path, or who are conscious, or who are trying to do good things, because the more uh, we can take lead, you know the more money is with the spiritual people, or conscious people. So now it is not only about your reach, or you want to become this, just that you want to be part of that bigger success for humanity. You want to be a part of, so when the earth is moving into a next level, probably you also have your students there, you know, you are also contributing. So all of that, it's a bigger thing. It's just that sometimes it sinks in, sometimes, you get disconnected with that idea. You don't want to become part of the it's very difficult to uh, segregate between who is selling with the right intention, and who's not selling with the right intention. Sometimes
mm,
you get carried away with people, probably. No, yeah, there is a lot that is going on, Sumita, in my head also, and around me also. just to figure out what is happening, because so much is changing from 2023 to 2024 end. I'm seeing a lot of change,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of change, and I'm feeling it. What will sustain, what will fizzle away, what is here to stay, all of that is changing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's uh, so things that we call negative forces probably are playing very, very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see people um, alienated, you will see people, diverting, and you probably the only thing that you can do is, you know, just do what you are supposed to do. You will not be able to have any control over them.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to do what you can do the best by being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so people see that, and then they also try to be themselves rather than, getting allured or getting carried away from what is happening around them. That is the only thing that you can do. For me, probably this is the one realization that you can make, you know, you see, ये बहुत अच्छा है, इसे खा लो, do this, but they will not. They will not. And then you'll just have to leave it there. So
Mm-hmm.
do this is so good, this is so good. It's like you enjoy, go you enjoy. So it's interesting around me, near me. This is what I'm observing, and I feel that probably this is also telling you that you take responsibility for yourself and keep moving, keep doing what you're supposed to do rather than, trying to get people together. Just put yourself out and let people come in. Maybe, the right resources will come through. Maybe the right people will come through. They have to. So let's see. And this
Mm-hmm.
12 dimensions, like I feel it's a wonderful framework. If we see, probably I've come a long way doing this. The contribution, like if you see Zero Hunger Drive, I was just asking, like till I'll be 45 next year. So what has been my achievement? My daughter was asking, Mama, what are you proud of? Okay. maybe- I said, I'm kind. Mama, kind तो आप ज्यादा नहीं हो, because
Healer,
you
good
are
healer.
you get angry. Good healer, but sometimes you forget. But she made me think on those lines.
Mm.
It's like midlife assessment.
Okay.
45 years. 45 तक यहाँ पहुंचे, अब next 45. So I was just thinking, people talk about that if you have 1 crore rupee, so 1 crore तक पहुंचने में बहुत मेहनत लगती है. But then
Mm,
1 crore से 100 crore you can reach in 15 minutes, 15 years, if it is compounded at 14% per annum.
mm,
Thinking about this with respect to the life, because from that, chota bacha to
mm.
maybe that 40 years, it has been a terribly tough journey. It has taken like forever, to
Mm,
decide which subject you need to take in class 10th and what to do in 12th, and then your engineering, and then all of it. It's like it's been a struggle to come till 40, 45. Now, when you look back from 45 to 90, it looks probably sorted. It looks probably sorted. Like you can really do or deep dive or create your niche. You know, things are clear. There is clarity, at least.
mm,
You don't know, but at least the basics are taken care now. So I think it's an interesting time. The 40s are quite an interesting time to be in. Just that बस अब थोड़ा body साथ दे.
mm.
And I'm also trying really hard in my own way. Although my husband thinks that there is, I can go to gym 2, 3 hours and then workout, but I want to take the slow
Mm-hmm.
path with yoga. So because I feel slow and steady wins the race. So probably yeah, let's see. आपने मुझे बहुत इंस्पायर किया है और yeah, especially Tiger Nest has been like one eye opener.
Uh,
I was talking to Shivali and she said, "But Sargam, you were the fittest among the group." I said, "Yeah, because you guys didn't do Tiger Nest, no? I was the fittest because I took them to that hot water bath that had
mm,
springs and all. I was the only one running away, and both of them were
mm,
like, "Dhime, dhime, dhime, dhime." I said, "No, that's not, that's not basically showing you my weakness, my physical limitations, but I've seen it during Tiger List.
mm.
It's not easy." सो अभी तो मानसरोवर भी करना है, कैलाश यात्रा करनी है, इजिप्ट करना है, अभी तो बहुत कुछ करना है
बहुत
इस
कुछ करना
के साथ।
है। और Coimbatore finalize or what?
डन डन।
Okay. Mhm.
So that is done. So any questions?
We'll discuss tomorrow.
ठीक है, so these are the 12 dimensions, I would
That
say.
belief system and challenges, those things.
Yeah, yeah. So belief system, those 4 questions. So we'll go through at least 4 or 5.
Mm.
Um, we'll do like a practical for the 4 or 5 dimensions. अगर कुछ रह जाता है तो we'll do the next day. But yeah, how to go about doing it is important. Okay,
Okay.
so we end this session
Mm.
here.